Kitley are doing in the scoring column for Virginia Tech. So some high scoring potential with these players. I know you love that, Debbie.
I do love offense, Jen, and for Virginia Tech, they've got to welcome the pressure and the defensive ball pressure that Clemson's going to bring to them, as well as attacking that pressure and then play to and through Kitley. And on the other side for Clemson, they have to be disruptive with their defense. They've got to turn Virginia Tech over, make them uncomfortable, and on the offensive end, they have to use their speed and run and try to get that cumulative effect wear down with their depth into the second half.
We get it going now from Littlejohn Coliseum in Clemson. Hokies starting off with the basketball. Georgia Amore has really grown into that point guard role as a freshman this season. As the season has gone along, she and Baines and Kayla King in that starting five, along with Sheppard and Kitley. Kitley calling for it inside, went to the other side of the rim and gets the first points.
So one of the things, Jen, that Virginia Tech does so well is isolate Kitley on the inside with great shooters around her.
Starting five for the Tigers as Washington drives to the basket and has the answer. Spray, one of the top three-point shooters in the country, along with Robinson, Elliott, and Hank for the Tigers.
Now, Virginia Tech will make 10 threes a game on the average. You have to run them off the three-point line. Make them get to their mid-range, where Clemson can use their speed and athleticism to be able to cover.
Kenny Brooks, always a pleasure when we get an opportunity to speak with him, and he has been so pleased at the chemistry of this group. When we were asking him what he felt was really the secret to their success in this five-game winning stretch, that was the first word that he mentioned to us, just the way that this team has grown together as the season has gone along.
Well, they're trying to go 1-0 every day. That's been their attitude since the upset over NC State in overtime, and they haven't lost since. They've been one of the hotter teams in the Power Five.
Yeah, that big win over the Wolfpack, what got things started in this hot stretch for the Hokies. And Amanda Butler knows she's got a work cut out for her tonight against this Virginia Tech team, but Debbie, I also know the way that this Clemson team is built, you really like the game plan that we were talking about with Coach Butler when we talked to her earlier.
Well, I think Coach Butler knows this has got to be an ugly game. I mean, it's got to be a game where they get tips, deflections, they use their speed and athleticism to get up and down. They got to make Virginia Tech work. Like, that's not making Aisha Sheppard work for a bucket. You can't lose her in transition. Everybody has to be locked in on the game plan. I know Coach Butler's locked in.
Says she wants to force her opponents into their second or third option. And as you so aptly pointed out, Sheppard, an open three in transition, that's a first option for Virginia Tech, and they made the most of it.
Well, here comes their full court pressure, and I think they can have an impact right here. They've got to turn them over. And Georgia Amore, to her credit, has gotten better with their press offense, handling the ball, making reads. And that's too easy for Sheppard. That's too good of a look.
Offensive rebound by Azana Baines, but then it was stripped, and the Tigers now with a chance to get out in transition. Washington will give it to Spray.
The home rim's not kind to Clemson. They've had a couple go halfway down and pop back out.
Yeah, Mari Robinson had one earlier in the paint that looked like she was already making her way down the court to play defense. Thought it was going to go in, and it didn't.
Washington guarding Sheppard.
Good hands by Spray. And it's taken right back by Sheppard. Amore says, no, you're the three-point shooter. You take it. Aisha Sheppard obliges.
Good timeout by Amanda Butler. She's going to her team. Are you kidding me? We have put her on the top of the scout. You cannot lose her in transition. And they lose her, and she hits two triples early in the game.
ACC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance.
With T-Mobile for Business, your business has an easy choice. The largest 5G network, award-winning customer satisfaction, insanely great value. Choose all 3. Ready when you are.
Hello?
Hey, Dad. Bobby's wondering if you could watch cartoons with him.
Yeah, sounds nice. I hope we can soon.
Dad, check your email.
Okay, click.
Hi, Grandpa!
What is this?
It's Sling Watch Party. You can invite people to watch live TV with you.
Wow.
Hey, family.
Uncle!
How'd you get in there, Todd?
Sling Watch Party is live TV together from anywhere, only from Sling. Get the best of cable for the best price.
A 6-0 run by the Hokies, and Aisha Sheppard in particular. Has Virginia Tech up 8-2 here early, and that brings us into tonight's Player Spotlight, brought to you by Geico. It is none other than Aisha Sheppard, Debbie.
8 times she's been over the 20-point mark. She makes 4 threes a game. She is #1 in the nation in 3-point field goal attempts. She's 3rd in the country in makes. She has 75 on the season, and I flat out love watching her play. You can put her in any screening action, in multiple actions, and you have to make sure that you stay tagged, because she can get into the rhythm of her jump shot very quickly outside the arc.
4 straight misses by the Tigers on the offensive end contributed to their early struggles. Amore got it.
I mean, Amore has become more of a scoring threat on the top of the floor for Virginia Tech. She's made a 3 in every ACC game this year except for one of the Wake Forest games.
Gabby Elliott can't find the basket for Clemson. Tigers still looking to get into a rhythm on this end of the floor. Washington scored the first points of the game, but nobody's been able to get any since for the Tigers.
Well, Kayla King is considered their best perimeter defender, and they're putting her on Washington, and her job is to keep Washington in front. Washington not a threat from 3. But Amari Robinson is.
On cue. That's just her 8th triple made of the season, but good timing. Part of the DNA for Virginia Tech, meanwhile, is knocking down the 3. They've made 3 straight triples, but they have that inside as well with Kitley.
Yeah, and see, Gabby Elliott rotates over from the weak side to bring a double, but if you're going to bring a double, you can't let Kitley just dribble around and get to the bucket that easily.
Turnover, and Sheppard causing problems.
I mean, watch the ball pressure, okay? And then the pass comes in, and Elliott, you got to bring, if you're bringing the double, you got to go to get that ball. You got to get a steal there. She's so athletic. She could have read that a little bit differently.
Amore goes back to Kitley, being guarded by Michaela Hayes, who came in off the bench. Kitley hit the deck, didn't matter.
So skilled. I mean, that 6'5", reverse pivot, fade away off 1 foot like Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, it is a beautiful move in the middle of the floor.
And in these opening minutes of this first quarter, Debbie, you're getting a really good look at why this Virginia Tech team has been so good inside and outside they hit, as Clemson gets a bucket there from Nick Cherry.
I think they're playing with incredible confidence. I think they know exactly who they are. They know exactly where their shots are coming from. Kenny Brooks has done an outstanding job. I mean, she's missed 2 threes and she's made a couple, but she's had a good look each time, Aisha Sheppard.
5 straight ACC wins coming into this one tonight for Virginia Tech. That's a program record. It's the longest active streak in the conference at the moment.
And there's a good defensive stance by Clemson. 3 on the shot clock. They didn't foul. They kept the pressure on. You can't let Virginia Tech just do what they want. You got to try to dictate some of the shots. And they're going to show some zone here out of bounds.
3 seconds on the shot clock with that inbounds. Clemson needing to find some wins. The Tigers have lost their last 4. Still on the bubble, though. One of the first 4 out, as predicted by Charlie Cream. Virginia Tech in the field at the moment, which is something the Hokies are very much looking forward to experiencing. The last time Virginia Tech has been to the NCAA tournament was 2006, although to be fair, they were headed that way last season, just didn't get the opportunity with COVID canceling the tournament. Amor picked up her dribble, but there was a foul against the Tigers. Destiny Thomas picking up her first. That was just the first foul of the game.
Well, I think Clemson needs to be a little bit more physical with their defense. You know, they need to be a little bit more high risk.
Kitley cleans up the glass. Amor was waiting for it. King took a step, got her shot. Washington pulls up just inside the free throw line. There's an offensive rebound for the Tigers, and Tyler Bennett helps her cause with a couple.
So Clemson has 5 offensive rebounds on 9 missed shots. That's outstanding. Now they've got to convert and get some points out of it, just like that.
They've been closing the gap as Virginia Tech has now missed their last 5 from the floor. Washington driving again, and she is fouled.
Well, this will be our first free throws of the game, but the drag screen set so deep below the elbow, and that allows Washington to get into that elevation on her jump shot, and Tyler Bennett knows she's going to take that shot and works to get an offensive rebound.
Coming up next, it's the final game of the regular season for Boston College. Eagles on the road at Syracuse. Orange looking to try to finish strong. They're coming off a couple of losses. Should be a good one. BC and Syracuse coming your way next. .6-0 run now by the Tigers to pull within 4. Kitley. 3 Tigers get around her, can't stop her though.
Well, she catches it that deep, forget about it. I mean, they're not going to be able to keep her from scoring. 2 feet in the paint, 2 points for Kitley.
8 points in the game for Kitley. She's 4 of 5 from the floor. Hokies speeding things up. Sheppard, offensive foul.
That is an excellent defensive possession in transition, because what Clemson does is they run her off the 3-point line. Delisha Washington does her job, and then Shania Meertens does hers.
Clemson will play typically a much deeper bench than will Virginia Tech. Already seen Meertens and Thomas and Bennett. Hayes in off the bench for the Tigers. Cherry as well. Washington got by her defender, and a chance for one more.
Clemson's got some momentum because their defense has given them some rhythm. And they have done a nice job of isolating Washington, letting her do her thing, getting to her strong hand. When she can get to that right hand, she is so explosive.
Now a one-possession game as Clemson is pulled within 3. It's a 9-2 Tiger run. Debbie, things seem to be working so well early for Virginia Tech. What's stalled here for the Hokies?
Well, they're not shooting threes. They're not making threes. And their threes and Kitley has been how they built their lead. There's a great backdoor cut.
What a cut, what a spin, and the finish for Azana Baines.
When you're playing against a team like Clemson that's athletic, aggressive, they're handsy, they're up the line, you have to look to go backdoor. You got to have your dribble entries in. You got to have a high post entry in.
Offensive foul there as the elbow came out from Washington.
This is Amor, good poise, good backdoor cut by Baines. It's a great read. She's one pass away, she's being overplayed. That's exactly what you're supposed to do, cut to score.
Baines, a former Duke Blue Devil, transferred to Virginia Tech this season.
You see, once Amor gives it up, Jen, you don't want her to get it back. Make them go to their secondary ball handler. And look at the job that Thomas is doing right now with that great ball pressure on Amor.
Sticking to her, now the switch, and left wide open in the paint was Kitley. She's in double digits with 10.
Look, that's an incredible pass by Kayla King. Because the whole idea of trapping is to not let them see to the other side of the floor, and Kenny Brooks' team is ready for the pressure. So now they clear out the backside, do a nice job of keeping the weak side out of there so there's no help.
Final seconds of the first quarter. Clemson looking for a bucket, had it taken away. King will launch from the paw. Close, but not quite. And Virginia Tech has a 7-point lead at the end of the first quarter on the road in Clemson. Freshman of the year last year, and now one of the top scorers in the league, averaging nearly 19 points per game. That ranks 3rd in the ACC. She also leads the ACC, ranks top 5 in the country with 12 double-doubles on the season. Calling for it again. Why not go there?
I mean, Clemson has great ball pressure on the passer, yet Kitley at 6'5" does such a good job of doing her work early, pushing her defender up the lane. I mean, Kenny Brooks is going to keep running that until Clemson stops it.
Yeah, and Amanda Butler knows once it gets to that point where the ball is in Kitley's hands that close to the bucket, there's not a lot her team's going to be able to do. King. All the points so far for the Hokies in this game have come either from 3 or in the paint, true to their DNA. Shania Mertens. Now Hank. Hank driving on Kitley, who's also a great shot blocker.
Yeah, but you gotta attack her. All right, you can't just let her catch lobs and score at the paint. You gotta make her play some D. You gotta make her run, try to wear her down. Clemson comes to the double team off that ball screen.
Gets back to Sheppard for an open look. She was red hot to start, missed a couple now though of her last 3-point attempts. Hank, nobody's really stepping out, so she'll shoot it from the elbow.
Well, Hannah Hank right now has a skill set from the high post that Clemson needs because it puts Kitley playing some D. And that's what they want. They want to see if they can pick up some fouls on her.
Baines got her own rebound. Kitley waiting for it. Easy 2. 14 now for Kitley.
I'll tell you who's cheering for Elizabeth Kitley right now is her sister Raven. I think Raven's probably jumping up and down. She's so excited about what Elizabeth, her younger sister, has been able to do so far in this first half. I'm a big fan of Ravens, and Kenny Brooks says Raven, who is Kitley's sister, is his favorite Kitley. And I'm going to tell you right now, Jen, she's mine too. I'll take Raven over Elizabeth any day. Look at this effort by Baines. Just a good read. Kitley available, 2 feet in the paint, 2 points for the 6'5".
And for those of you who may not know, Liz Kitley's sister, Raven, is autistic. The two of them have a very special relationship, and as you can tell, Raven makes an impact on many whom she meets. Sheppard got it out to Gregg. The Aisha Gregg's been getting more minutes here.
Another good defensive possession. You run Aisha Sheppard off the 3-point line, make somebody different shoot the 3. And if we're going to go ahead and talk about sisters, Jen, we need to mention Amari Robinson's sister Kennedy as well, because we can't give Raven all the love. I mean, Kennedy's got to have some as well. Amari's younger sister Kennedy has Down syndrome, and they live in the Atlanta area, and I know she's watching with her mom and dad. Her mom and dad get props all the time for being D1 basketball players, so I just want to talk about Kennedy today.
I like it. All about sharing the love for some very important family members, and many whom would probably like to be able to be watching their sisters in person this year. Haven't been able to do that as much as they would like, so happy to share some shout outs on air.
Clemson goes zone on baseline out of bounds.
Kitley has scored 12 of the last 14 for Virginia Tech. Six points in the game for Washington, the leading scorer for the Tigers, who averages about 15.5 on the season. Cherry looking to hand off, does so nicely to Hayes, but she couldn't finish. Kitley away from the basket. That's a win for the Clemson defense, as is the foul against the Hokies.
That's an illegal screen on the top of the floor by Deja Gregg.
Just 2 points in the quarter so far for Clemson. The game, you put this in the must-win category. I know it's a tough task, but Clemson still has those NCAA hopes, Debbie. This is a big opportunity.
Well, I think they need a quality win, and this would be one. I mean, this would definitely help their resume. Charlie Cream already has them as first 4 out. I think it's a must-win for them.
Amore stolen momentarily by Washington, but it goes out of bounds. Saturday afternoon, we've got some college basketball coming your way. Men's hoops on ACC Network. Syracuse and Georgia Tech start you off at noon. Then Notre Dame and Boston College, and you can finish up with 16th ranked Virginia Tech hosting Wake Forest in Blacksburg. Amore. That three has not been falling quite as much as it did early for Virginia Tech in this one.
Well, they're 3 for 12 outside the three-point line, but, you know, Clemson is maybe speeding them up. And, you know, if you can speed the rhythm up of the team and not let them just be comfortable standing behind the arc and shooting, you can, you know, affect their shots.
Hokies 0 of 5 from 3 in this quarter. Elliott, nice pass to Cherry, who is fouled.
Monique Cherry always brings energy and activity on the glass. I think she's got a very high motor. I mean, this is just a nice leave by Elliott, who gets great penetration and drops it off. I don't even know how Gabby Elliott saw that pass.
Cherry, a senior who's a transfer of Jones County Junior College in her second year with the Tigers, completes the three-point play. 4-point game. A little pressure from Clemson. Baines with the left hand.
Anybody but Kitley or Sheppard right now for Clemson taking shots is a good thing. Delisha Washington, look at the elevation, a little fadeaway at the elbow. We see you, Delisha Washington.
Businesses are always making choices. Here's a choice you don't have to make. The largest 5G network, award-winning customer satisfaction, or insanely great value. Now with T-Mobile for Business, there's no compromise. Network, support, value. Choose all three. T-Mobile for Business. Ready when you are.
Pretty much this is just a memo that was been sent over to us, and it says this award is in the amount of 100%
Team, that's Skylar Blackstock sitting on the far left.
academic year awarded to Skylar.
That moment you just saw there, pure joy. A moment worth sharing as Skylar Blackstock, who is a junior out of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, was surprised by being awarded a scholarship last week, former walk-on. And that scholarship, Debbie, we found out today was given retroactively to cover this entire year.
Well, I know her parents, Patty and Jeremy, must have had at least one cocktail over celebrating that, because as a mother who pays tuition myself, that is cool. But you know what, Skylar, I've known for a long time. She's a great kid. She's a hard worker. She understood what her role would be as a former walk-on on this team, and she plays her role perfectly to allow Clemson to have success. So I couldn't be more proud of Skylar, because I know how hard she's worked. She's been a player that's been in my camps, and I know everyone at Wando High School is proud of her as well.
Every team has players that they need to be great scout team players for them, and that's one of the roles that you just talked about that Skylar has played so well for this Clemson team.
Piece of the paint, kick, one more to the right person. Very well executed by the Hokies.
There's a foul on Kitley on that last play, is what wound up giving the ball back to Clemson, down 7. Washington will take it and make it.
I told you it had to be a big number tonight, Jen. And right now, 11 first half points on 4 for 7 shooting, and she's made all her free throws.
So off to a good start, I would say, for Delisha Washington, former Florida Gator, and some good pressure being applied there from Cherry. It pays off. Elliott can't get the points in transition, will get a chance at the free throw line.
See, now you see Clemson's ball pressure, their length, and their athleticism having a factor on Virginia Tech. See, right here, Sheppard, she needed to eat that one, because you don't want to give up an easy two. It's good hustle to get back and commit that foul and make Abby Elliott earn it at the free throw line.
Tomorrow, two great women's lacrosse matchups for you on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Number 16 USC against number 13 Boston College at 12:30. And then the rivalry, number 8 Duke, number 1 North Carolina coming your way.
You know that Jamie Ortega is the best player on North Carolina's lacrosse team. And I happen to know that name because Jamie Ortega is from Long Island and makes me excited about lacrosse. So I'm going to be watching that because I want to see Jamie play.
I appreciate that, Debbie. A little lacrosse knowledge being dropped by you. Impressive.
Well, I like lacrosse. I think it's very similar to basketball.
And a number of excellent teams in the ACC in women's lacrosse, as well as women's basketball. Still 2 ranked in the top 25. Louisville and NC State. Wolfpack moving up to number 2.
This is the kind of pace that Clemson needs the game to be so they can have success. I mean, Amanda Butler shuffling players in and out, everyone locked in, understanding the scout. You know, Kendall Spray has not been able to really shake free yet. She's only had 1 3-point attempt. They got to find her outside the arc, but give credit to Virginia Tech. They're doing a good job of finding her.
Couple of missed free throws there by Cherry as Washington has done the bulk of the scoring. She's 11 points for Clemson. The rest of the team has 12, but the Tigers within 5.
You know what? I can live with that foul if I'm Amanda Butler because Destiny Thomas is doing what she asked her to do. Don't let Amore get it back. Keep making her work. It's a cumulative wear-down effect defensively when you got to go against that kind of pressure for 40 minutes.
Today's telecast presented by Geico. Virginia Tech leading Clemson 28-23. Hokies have won 5 straight in the ACC. And that looks like another one on Kitley. That's her second.
I like to see that one again. Tyler Bennett. Oh, no. No. No way. And if I'm Kenny, see, that's why I couldn't coach, because I would lose my mind. Because my best players got to go sit down on the bench right now for the rest of the half. Because I can't take a chance on Kitley picking up a third. Look, I'd be really mad if I was Kenny Brooks right now.
One of the nicest men you'll meet, but I bet there is some anger under that mask, and he's expressing some of his frustration right now to the officiating crew, Jules Gallion, Ed Sedlasky, Meadow Overstreet. Amore's foul puts Spray on the free throw line. 90% free throw shooter for the Tigers, and that's her first point in the game. 3-point game.
Little run and jump in the backcourt. Amore does a great job of handling it. Hey, if they're going to run and jump, you get an opportunity to take it to the lane, go. Get to the rim. That's what I said at the very beginning, Jen. Attack the pressure.
Amore, freshman point guard out of Victoria, Australia, who Kenny Brooks said will be their point guard of the future. She's the point guard of the present as well. The job she's done in her first year with the Hokies.
offense, defensive substitutions by Amanda Butler, even in the second quarter. That's the kind of game planning that it takes to get a really important win.
Baines will try the three. She's short.
We haven't heard from Aisha Sheppard in a little while. She does have 3 triples in the first half.
Tie up there. Tyler Bennett just wouldn't let go of the basketball. She was determined to hang on. And jump ball was the call. Do you like this defense in-out substitution this early, Debbie?
I do, absolutely, 100%. I love it. I mean, you're playing every possession, and you're telling your team every possession matters.
Hannah Hank. Her shot wouldn't go. This is going to give Sheppard a chance in transition, but Spray slowed her down. No Kitley in the game with 2 fouls right now for Virginia Tech. She's leading the way with 14 points. Washington had her ball in her hands an awful lot.
Yeah, I don't like that shot by Delisha Washington. She's made a lot of good decisions. Then does she commit a foul?
I think that was against Washington, her second.
You see, that's where she has to keep her emotions in check. Okay, it's a tough shot. Then she comes in and, I mean, that's a foul.
I mean, she is an emotional player, and as most are, who are that way, they can use that to their advantage. You can be very passionate. She absolutely has been that, but right now she's going to find herself on the bench. Sheppard now has 10. Averages just over 19 points per game. That ranks second in the ACC behind Louisville's Dana Evans. Robinson calling for it inside. Amari Robinson has hit a 3 in this game, but nothing on the interior. She's had a few close calls.
I mean, she's 1 for 2 outside the 3-point line, and she would be 0 for 3 around the rim. And she's had some deep catches, just like that one, and a couple of offensive rebounds that she hasn't been able to finish.
Clemson having a little trouble getting the ball in. Spray does eventually get it to Shania Meertens.
If you work on it, you got a chance for a 2-for-1 here.
Shot clock at 3 for Meertens. Offensive rebound kept alive by Robinson. She'll try to take it against Baines herself. Stepped out of bounds, gives it to the Hokies.
Last possession of the half here for Virginia Tech. I would make sure that Aisha Sheppard gets a touch here. And Clemson bringing that full court pressure. Just have to make sure you don't get beat over the top. And so Kenny Brooks counters with 2 point guards on the floor for this last possession.
Clemson will try to end it with some good defense. They've gone 0 for their last 7 offensively. Sheppard got a friendly roll.
That's a dead roll, Jen. It dies on the rim, then rolls in.
Final shot of the half, and Clemson with a 10-point deficit. 33%, which is typically what they like to do. 5 of 15 from 3, and a bit of a rebounding advantage as well.
Clemson 7 points off the bench, and their depth has to be a factor. They have to try to get into the legs of Virginia Tech, who doesn't have the same depth.
Yeah, the last game, Kenny Brooks only played 7 players and really relied upon some of his key players like Kitley, who just lost it to play a ton of minutes. She played all 40 in the last game, a win against Syracuse, and Washington getting this second half off to a quick start for Clemson.
You can go high risk, high reward. You can go unpredictability here, but this could not be a better start to the second half for Clemson. The trap, the steal, and Washington getting to the free throw line, putting an early foul in the third quarter on Virginia Tech.
That was against Georgia Amore, her second personal. 11 points in that first half for Washington to lead the way. Clemson at least 14 each for Sheppard and Kitley for the Hokies. Clemson just 6 of 12 from the free throw line so far in this game. You'd think that's a number they're going to need to improve upon to continue to close this gap. Sheppard started off the game hitting her first 2 from deep, went 2 of 6 after that. Washington tried her best to save it, but wound up giving it right to King. Amore, free lane to the basket, she'll take it.
She's just done a nice job of reading what the defense gives her. She doesn't force anything. She's got great balance in her game. Her handles are good. And she's become more of a threat scoring.
Move on the inside is good by Robinson.
And so if you're Amanda Butler, you're building up the confidence of Amari Robinson at halftime, because the quality of her catch was in the paint and she didn't finish. So you've got to get her feeling confident about her work without the ball and then just being able to finish.
Sheppard going to Kitley. She's been nearly unstoppable in this game. Was fouled on that attempt, but she was 7 of 8 from the floor in the first half.
So one of the things we talked to Amanda Butler about was she has 4 or 4.5 players that can give you 5 fouls on Kitley, and you need to use them. I mean, you got to push her around a little bit. She's so skilled. You just can't let her go where she wants.
10 players saw the court in the first half for Clemson, so Amanda Butler well aware of that cast of characters at her disposal. Put back is good after the missed free throw. It was Azana Baines, and the largest lead of the game now for Virginia Tech.
You got to read
Kitley.
the weak side. There's no way that pass was going to make it.
Hopeful at best.
You can't throw hopeful passes, Jen. Come on now.
Yeah,
you can't,
I know.
And you can't go for the home run. You got to hit singles right now if you're Clemson.
Kitley had to catch it a little farther out that time. Still made the basket. Still gets a chance to add one more.
Nothing bothers her. She never gets rattled. She has incredible balance, really good footwork. She can catch everything. I mean, she might have got away with a small hook there maybe, but with contact, she maintains her focus on the rim.
Kitley at the free throw line leads the ACC. She gets there a lot. A lot of teams know they need to bother her with some physicality and some fouls in the paint. She came into this game with 77 free throw makes. That's the most in the league. Kitley and Sheppard combined for 32 points, outscoring Clemson on their own at the moment. And you wonder, Debbie, does Clemson need someone other than Washington to get going? They could use a few more from her. They'll take those.
Well, they could use some help. There's no question. Kendall Spray's got to find a way to shake free. But Delisha Washington, that mid-range pull-up, I'll tell you who she reminds me of, Jen. You know, she might have, with her length and her explosiveness, the best pull-up from inside 15 in the league. I'm trying to think of somebody who has a better pull-up. Dana Evans would come to mind, but not the same size. She reminds me a lot of Tracy Reed from North Carolina, who was a two-time ACC Player of the Year. She was one of the best players inside 10 feet of scoring in the history of the ACC that I've ever seen. That was a guard, not a post player. And Gabby Elliott's going to pick up the charge. Clemson's got to be really careful right here, Jen. You know, they can't let the separation continue to increase here. They've got to be able to counter with some buckets, and they've got to get some stops. If they can get 3 in a row and 3 scores, they can get right back in it.
Kitley being defended by Neek Cherry, who got her hand to the basketball but couldn't hang on to it for the steal. Amore gets around Cherry. The ball swung around to Sheppard. That's how you do it.
That is beautiful right there, because Kayla King was open. But if you make one more, you get it to one of the best three-point shooters in the nation.
The answer on this end from Elliott. Her first points.
You got to have a great focus, supreme focus right here defensively if you're Clemson. You have to be able to turn them over, get some stops. And see, anybody right now besides Kitley and Sheppard taking shots might be considered a half a win if you rebound it.
Now, Baines has been left open a couple of times out there from 3. She shoots under 30% from beyond the three-point line for the season. Washington pushing the pace, and that's a blocking foul against Amore. That's her third.
That's just a nice change of pace. You know, and Delisha Washington trying to create off the bounce, which she's very good at.
And this does pose a challenge to Virginia Tech and Kenny Brooks, who mentioned he has not gone very deep on his bench here as of late. He only played 7 players in the last game.
I think Coach Butler's trying to sell the fact that it was a shooting foul. That she's claiming that Washington was in the act.
Doesn't look like she's going to win that battle. Cherry, open off the inbounds. 4 straight field goals by the Tigers. Made their last 4, I should say. Now a turnover. Does Virginia Tech lose a bit of their rhythm with their point guard now off the floor in Amore? Pull up by Elliott. Cherry working around the paint, stepped out of bounds. Virginia Tech is led by as many as 17. Clemson's edged a bit closer now. Down a dozen. From the corner, will not go. Kayla King has not been able to find her stroke in this game. Typically a pretty reliable three-point shooter for the Hokies.
They had a mismatch. By resetting, you allow Virginia Tech to get the proper matchups.
7 on the shot clock. Bennett looking for options. Destiny Thomas, too strong. Offensive rebound blocked. Get it out of there by Kitley, but it went right back into the hands of the Tigers. Clemson trying to keep their postseason hopes alive. On the bubble, according to Charlie Cream, right now as one of the first 4 out.
Really nice job by Virginia Tech. 9 assists in the game on 18 made field goals because they know personnel. It's not just the point guard, Jen, that knows the 3 W's, who and when and where.
With T-Mobile for Business, your business has an easy choice. The largest 5G network, award-winning customer satisfaction, insanely great value. Choose all 3. Ready when you are.
Time is running out to get an amazing deal on our most winter-ready Honda models. With available all-wheel drive technology tested in the most extreme conditions. Act fast before the Honda 0% event is over. You don't want to miss out. Well-qualified buyers can get a great deal, like 0% APR financing on the purchase of select Honda models. Hurry in or shop online.
Time to talk a little bracketology, according to Charlie Cream. Here's some numbers for you to digest looking at our 2 teams, Virginia Tech and Clemson. And with the seed there, 9 for Virginia Tech, Clemson in that first 4 out, you can see why this is such a big game. And Kenny Brooks wants his team to keep winning, Debbie, but particularly for Clemson.
Well, Clemson, I think, is in a must-win. I mean, they are literally on the bubble, and a win tonight against Virginia Tech would be a quality win. It would help their RPI, which is about 62 right now. Virginia Tech's already solidly in the field. And the Virginia Tech win here keeps them in the hunt for one of the top 4 seeds. There is some sort of math involved there that it could happen.
Yes, some math and some scenarios that require a lot of help from some other teams, but it is a great point, Debbie, that those coveted top 4 seeds in the ACC tournament that get you the double bye and a ton more rest, put you in a much better situation. The top 8 teams in the league right now, which does include Virginia Tech, are still in contention for those top 4 coming into tonight. And because we know Louisville and NC State are guaranteed 2 of the spots, that means there are 6 teams fighting for those last 2 spots down the stretch.
Well, and you mentioned NC State. What a great game today in Reynolds Coliseum for seniors Kayla Jones and Kai Crutchfield, and 5 starters in double figures for Wes Moore. 16 made threes, and Kayla Jones, her line I love. 10 points, 6 boards, 7 assists. She went 3 for 3 outside the 3-point line, Jen. And you know what I say when I say Kayla Jones? I say hybrid 4. Hybrid 4, different than a stretch 4. Because she's such a good decision maker and facilitator. I mean, she led the team with 7 assists.
Those 16 made threes, by the way, tied for the 2nd most in the league this year in a game, tying with Virginia Tech, who did it earlier this season. Syracuse with the most. They made 17 in a game earlier. Right now, though, Virginia Tech in a bit of a drought. They've gone 3 minutes without a point.
Both teams 4 for 9 this quarter.
That was a shot put almost from Greg, just clunked off the back of the iron. Washington, good look inside to Elliott.
I mean, Clemson's got a lot of heart right here. They are really battling. I mean, nothing comes easy for them. That's just a nice live dribble pass inside, quickly gets it to Elliott, who gets great position, does the work before the ball gets in her hands.
9-0 run by the Tigers. And Gabby Elliott, talented freshman out of Detroit, Michigan. Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year in high school will have a chance to make that a 10-0 run with this free throw. Can't quite do it. Rebound to the Hokies. And we see Michaela Ennis, number 0, on the floor for the first time for Virginia Tech, as 15 fouls against the Hokies have forced Kenny Brooks' hand a bit to go deep in his bench. Offensive foul.
I mean, this is just a terrific job. Look at Kendall Spray. I mean, she could almost have a cup of coffee waiting on that charge. She got there set, legal guarding position.
Robinson, all ACC freshman team selection a year ago for the Tigers. Clemson trying to work some momentum. They keep it going. Meanwhile, Debbie, no points for Virginia Tech since Georgia Amore went out of the game with her 3rd personal foul. That was at the 5:46 mark, and it is an 11-0 run right now by Clemson. I'm going to call that off. Travel. Call that attempt off. Coming up next, more women's basketball coming your way on ACC Network. Boston College and Syracuse as the Eagles head up to the Carrier Dome. Syracuse looking to try to right the ship a bit. The Orange have lost their last 2. That's coming up next, 8 o'clock on ACC Network. So, Debbie, how does Virginia Tech get their mojo, their rhythm back a bit here?
Well, I think they need to move the ball. They need to play inside out. They need to do a good job of screening for Sheppard. Just the detail, the same things that they do every day in practice. It's not anything special here. They just got to be able to absorb this punch by Clemson.
Washington has to get up high to keep that pass in bounds. And then tried to feed it to Robinson. It's out on Virginia Tech.
And see, that's where I want Delisha Washington's next level of her game to increase. She had Kitley on her because they push and transition, and you force the mismatch when you run the floor that hard. So instead of trying to make that home run play, she could have taken Kitley off the bounce one-on-one. Just clear it out and go ISO ball.
$13 points in the game for Washington to lead the Tigers. 11 of those in the first half, just 2 this quarter. Frustrated that that pass didn't find its target.
13 turnovers for Clemson.
And some good defense played by the Tigers forces Virginia Tech to call a timeout. Hokies struggling on the road. Clemson has cut it to 6 as we'll step aside.
Businesses are always making choices. Here's a choice you don't have to make. The largest 5G network, award-winning customer satisfaction, or insanely great value. Now with T-Mobile for Business, there's no compromise. Network, support, value. Choose all 3. T-Mobile for Business. Ready when you are.
Men's Hoops on Saturday on ACC Network. Our triple header starts at noon. Syracuse and Georgia Tech, followed by Notre Dame, Boston College, and then Wake Forest and 16th ranked Virginia Tech closing out that triple header at 4 o'clock. So Clemson has cut it to 6. It's an 11-0 run, and Georgia Amore now back on the floor to try to help right the ship a bit for Virginia Tech.
I actually think that's an easy decision for Kenny Brooks because of the rhythm of his team. She does have 3 fouls, but you got to trust the freshman. You know, one of the things that he said to us today is he spends a lot of time with her. He watches a lot of film with her. He thinks she sees the game the way he does.
And as soon as she comes back in, Debbie, Kitley gets her first bucket in over 6 minutes.
You know, she might turn the ball over, but she doesn't usually turn it over feeding the post. She's excellent at getting the ball to Kitley where she can make a move.
A kick from Kitley. She put 20 back on the clock.
How about a little ball fake before you make that pass? See, look at that pass right there, right to Kitley, where she can feel the D, gets over that left shoulder with a half hook. Nobody in the league can guard that.
Cherry wants it, gets it off the inbound. She has 10.
There's that motor, that energy around the rim.
Finally, another double-digit score for Clemson to go along with Washington's 13 points. King waiting for it, pass a little low. Sheppard used a shot fake. And then
what
Washington.
a rebound.
Are
you kidding me?
Superwoman on that rebound.
Oh, and then she turns it over. You know, that's what I said to Amanda Butler today. I'm like, how do you keep composed when they do something like that? As Nick Cherry goes to work around.
Your business has an easy choice. The largest 5G network, award-winning customer satisfaction, insanely great value. Choose all three. Ready when you are.
One. Wow. Wow, North Carolina up 30 on Georgia Tech right now, and the ACC teams just ruling the bubble. That game is so important. You look at the number of ACC teams in that last four in, first four out right now, Debbie.
Yeah, and you can see where Clemson is, and that's why it's important for them. I thought Wake Forest would already be a team that was in the tournament. I thought they had done enough so far. But North Carolina, that's a significant win. So they would have a win over NC State and a win over Georgia Tech, a couple of tournament teams. They also have a win over Syracuse, too. I called that game earlier in the year.
At the moment, 7 teams projected in the field of 64 from the ACC, but you just saw could have several more based on those teams on the bubble, like this Clemson Tiger team, who has really made this a hard-fought, gritty game, much to their liking.
Look at Tyler Bennett standing Kitley straight up.
Kendall Spray hits her first 3 of the game.
This is what you want if you're Clemson. The pace is where you can win. You've made it ugly. You've taken some of the rhythm away from Virginia Tech. Made them think.
Amore had a good look at the 3. But it is now a 16-2 run by Clemson. A 3-point lead by the Hokies, making 1.
Well, Clemson shot the ball so poorly in the first half, just 28%, but they are 9 for 15 here in the second.
And there have been more contributions to go along with Delisha Washington. That ball falls back in. Robinson hangs on to it.
Game pressure shots. There is a significant difference between making shots in the first quarter or making shots in the fourth quarter when the game tightens up.
Veronica Hip into the game for Clemson. That's the 11th Tiger into the game. Spray wanted it back-to-back for her 3-point attempts. Elliott. Washington actually on the bench at the moment for Clemson.
Well, I think Amanda Butler trying to give her a little bit of a rest, and it's a good time to rest her, honestly, when you got a one-possession game, but I don't know how much longer you can keep her over there.
Amore, spin move.
Again, anyone but Kitley and Sheppard taking shots.
Kitley trying to make a move against Bennett, fades away, gets the bucket.
So smooth, you cannot rattle her. She's not untrappable, unflappable. That's Dana Evans, but she can definitely take over the game and want the ball in the key moments.
Kendall Spray starting to come alive, and so is Clemson.
With T-Mobile for Business, your business has an easy choice. The largest 5G network, award-winning customer satisfaction, insanely great value. Choose all three. Ready when you are.
Time is running out to get an amazing deal on our most winter-ready Honda models. With available all-wheel drive technology tested in the most extreme conditions. Act fast before the Honda 0% event is over. You don't want to miss out. Well-qualified buyers can get a great deal, like 0% APR financing on the purchase of select Honda models. Hurry in or shop online.
CC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance. We've got a good one here in Clemson. The Tigers have clawed their way back into it, down by as many as 17 points in this game, but they have roared right back to make it a one-possession game.
Listen, I'm not going to stand by President Clements there in that billboard coming back from break. I saw him in there. I love him. He is a great leader at Clemson. He is engaging with the students. The faculty and staff love him. He's a huge proponent of athletics and where it fits in the university model. He and his wife Beth, the First Lady, they are fantastic representatives. I love those guys. They are awesome people.
Hoping to see their women's team tonight maybe pull off what would be a very important win in terms of the postseason. Debbie has called it a must-win tonight for Clemson to stay on that bubble and improve their chances of getting into the field of 64.
Michaela Hayes has her turn on Elizabeth Kitley. You see how she's guarding her. Now they're going to double that ball screen.
2 on the shot clock. And the 3 is a backbreaker from Kayla King.
Don't you love a big shot maker like Kayla King in the clutch?
Well, how about the answer from Destiny Thomas?
I mean, when's the last time Destiny Thomas made a 3? Last year? I mean, that's a big bucket.
Feels like it, probably. That's the first points of the game for each of those two players, Kayla King for Virginia Tech and Destiny Thomas. King will try another from the other side. And Washington had it, but tapped it off her own fingertips out of bounds. My bad, she says.
This is when you know you have offensive maturity. Stretch the double. Keep your dribble alive. Locate one of your best shooters.
Speaking of your best shooters, Sheppard would certainly be in that category, but she has just 3 points since halftime.
Boy, Delisha Washington is a nightmare to defend one-on-one. I mean, you feel like you're on an island most of the game. And Kayla King has had a tough assignment.
Well, Washington was on the bench for a little bit of a rest, and King does foul her that time, but no points in over 12 minutes now for Washington.
I mean, this is a one-on-one. Everybody lifted above. They're letting Delisha Washington try to take advantage of that matchup with Kayla King.
Tonight's telecast presented by Geico. Clemson has never led in this game. Rolling around the paint is Robinson.
Oh, good D by Baines.
Georgia Amore seeing the floor. Kenny Brooks telling us almost exactly the way he sees it now. You mentioned the time they spent together watching film has really helped her to see the game the way her coach wants her to see it and set it up. And you might as well keep feeding Kayla King. She now has 6.
Look, Kayla King has made 51 threes and 5 twos on the season. 90% of the shots she takes are outside the arc. Can't lose her.
Rounding in for Robinson. She now has 11.
Hey, what a game. I mean, this is punch, counter punch right now.
ACC tournament right around the corner next week in Greensboro. Just one game remaining for each of these two teams after this one tonight. So much on the line in terms of potential seeding. Virginia Tech with a chance potentially to grab one of those top 4 seeds in a double bye. Clemson trying to move up and think about their NCAA tournament hopes.
Yeah, Delisha Washington commits the foul. That's just the first team foul for Clemson.
And off the inbounds, the 3 is good. That was a 3rd personal on Washington, and then Sheppard knocks down the 3.
It's not how many threes you make. Sometimes it's when you make them. And down the stretch here, Virginia Tech with Kayla King and Aisha Sheppard have had 3 triples in their last few possessions.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's offense had been quiet. They'd gone in somewhat of a drought and allowed Clemson to get back in it, get it within 1 at one point, but now Virginia Tech back up 7.
With T-Mobile for Business, your business has an easy choice. The largest 5G network, award-winning customer satisfaction, insanely great value. Choose all 3. Ready when you are.
10 Eastern, you know what's coming up. Bald men not on campus. Jay Billis, LaFonso Ellis, Seth Greenberg have your preview for the ACC slate of weekend games. We'll give you all the latest news from around the conference. That's only on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Under 4 to play in this one. Clemson has come close but has never led. Washington gets 2 points.
Wow. I mean, just great elevation and determination to make that play.
15 for Washington, the lead back to 5 for Virginia Tech.
Bennett really working on that matchup with Kitley.
Sheppard, both players, I think, expecting a whistle of a foul. None given. It was just an out of bounds. I'll stay with Virginia Tech.
Quick
9
hands,
seconds on the shot clock.
Kendall Spray. Well, I never liked that play. I never liked that out of bounds play when you throw it all the way over the top of 9 other players.
I mean, I would think, Debbie, it almost has to be perfect to get it over the outstretched arms of the defense that's between you and your target.
Some teams, maybe you can make that pass against if you don't have the speed and quickness advantage. Look for somebody to cut to the ball here and look for Amore to get it right back.
3 on the shot clock for Sheppard. And a foul with 2 left on the shot clock.
I mean, they have been trapping that high ball screen all second half. Here they've got a great trap. And they commit a foul. She's going to shoot 3 free throws also.
Yeah. And Sheppard converts it a clip of nearly 84% from the free throw line.
Mark that down right there, Jen. 3:21 with a 5-point deficit. That with that foul is going to take Sheppard, because she's going to make this one.
You mentioned the great work, the different defenses that Clemson has used throughout this game to just try to bother Virginia Tech and throw them off their rhythm. And they're that close. They were that close to getting to the end of that shot clock. But then the foul wound up putting 3 points more on the board for Virginia Tech.
You got to really be solid defensively here and get a stop with a rebound. And watch the patience and poise. This is where Virginia Tech has matured so much. Remember how many close games they lost at the beginning of the year? They are a much different discipline right now about their body language and about the way they understand how to close out a game.
Yeah, there were so many, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I think we were all saying at one point that they were the best team with, what was it, only 1 conference win or 2 conference win at the time prior to going on this run, because so many of those losses were so close. They had the 2-point loss at NC State. They lost by 5 to Notre Dame. They lost by 3 to Wake Forest. They lost by 2 at Georgia Tech. I mean, that was the story of their season, coming close, but not getting it. And now you're seeing the confidence of a team that has gotten it their last few. Tonight's telecast presented by Geico. The lead back to 10 for Virginia Tech. 16-7 run by the Hokies as Washington was fouled maybe a couple of times, and Amari Robinson trying to calm their emotional leader down.
So that was the 4th foul on King, who went to the bench. Baines now with 4, and 4 team fouls for Virginia Tech. Now King's back on the floor.
Yeah, at the moment, they have both those players having picked up the foul. Quick look to Nick Cherry on the inbounds, and she was fouled. And so now Clemson should be shooting free throws the rest of the way, even when it's not a shooting foul. It's a 5th team foul against the Hokies. However, when they get there, they need to make them. Tigers just 8 of 17 from the line in the game. That was the 4th foul on Deasia Gregg, by the way, for Virginia Tech as well. One of 2 for Cherry from the line. And those are the players you need to watch. 3 of them with 4 fouls for Virginia Tech, along with Amor, who has 3. The takeaway from Cherry, and she gets the 2 in transition.
Here comes that full court, high risk, high reward, all out pressure. Looking to run and jump in the backcourt.
Pressure,
another
causing
turnover.
Problems.
This has been an issue for Virginia Tech in some games this year.
Washington thought she had it. And then a foul on Cherry after the play.
They have done such a good job right here. Back-to-back turnovers. Here's Nick Cherry with a steal. Then the next play, a run and jump and a steal that allows them to get possession. You still have 1 more foul, or no more fouls to give, but you can be aggressive here, trying to get a steal, trying to get a trap. Or you foul Baines and put her to the free throw line. Better than putting Sheppard or Kitley or Amor on the line. Baines is a 50% free throw shooter.
Yeah. You could tell Clemson knew the numbers. They were ready for that. Elliott committing the foul.
And now, Jen, you get Kendall Spray back on the floor for an offensive possession.
1 3-pointer in the game for Spray, but she is always a threat in that department. 2nd amongst active players in the NCAA in terms of career 3-pointers made. She had 352 coming into tonight. Baines missed them both. Spray coming around for it. Didn't want to try it over Kitley. Washington.
Oh, I thought she walked, but she got her hips and shoulders past King. There's the three.
Now it's up to the defense to force the issue again.
Try to make her give it up here. See if you can get Baines to catch it again.
Yeah, everybody else on the floor, pretty good free throw shooter. 78% or above. The other 4 players on the floor for Virginia Tech. 76% for Kitley coming into tonight. Sheppard, meanwhile, one of the best in the conference. 84% coming into tonight from the line. And she and Kitley both get to the line a lot, and they make a lot.
Well, Clemson has cut down on their turnovers tonight, and they have been able to turn Virginia Tech over 16 times. They've been able to score 13 points off those turns.
Washington off the mark, and time running out on the Tigers. Cherry with the foul.
Well, I think Clemson did a good job, Jen, of putting themselves in a position to be able to make a run at it at the end of the game, but it was the three-point shooting of Virginia Tech that really closed it out. Plus, that foul with 3:20 to play with 3 seconds on the shot clock, that took the 5-point game up to 8.
Yeah, the Hokies certainly turned that three-point shooting back on when they needed to. Kayla King knocked down a couple in this quarter. Sheppard had one.
And Elizabeth Kitley played the entire second half without committing a foul.
24 points for Kitley, 11 rebounds for her 19th career double-double, 13th of this season, which leads the ACC and is amongst the best in the country.
And only shooting 11 for 15 from the floor. I mean, an outstanding game by the 6'5" Elizabeth Kitley, who is just a sophomore. Last year's, as you mentioned, ACC Rookie of the Year. She'll be a first-team All-ACC performer this year for sure. And she should be on the Wade Trophy watch list, and there's several other lists, the Naismith Trophy list, the Wooden list. She's on all those lists for me.
Hard to deny her numbers, Debbie. I think a lot would agree with you. Pretty good night of work for Kitley.
I think Kenny Brooks has got to feel good about where his team's going to be situated. 6 in a row. Challenged at the end, made the right plays. It's just another building block for confidence for his team as they prep for the postseason. And they get North Carolina next, and boy, North Carolina is looking pretty good. Big win for them tonight.
84-59 the final for North Carolina, and a win over Georgia Tech tonight. So yes, that will be the final opponent in Blacksburg on Sunday for this Virginia Tech team that will take a school record 6-game ACC winning streak into that one.
And you know, a team like Virginia Tech, right? They can score inside. They've got enough three-point shooting. They've got others that play their roles really well. They have outstanding chemistry. They have grown through the course of the season. Kayla King guards the best player on the other team and does a really solid job. You never know about seeding. Like, it depends on where they get situated in the NCAA tournament. It can be really interesting to watch their path.
Clemson Tigers had a promising start to the season, but as Amanda Butler said, as 2021 has not been quite as good to them as 2020 was in terms of wins and losses. They do have some impressive wins in there, though, Debbie.
Oh, they've got 4 key wins right there. And, you know, I mean, when do you talk to Amanda Butler when she's not positive and has the right attitude, has her team in perspective, understands how challenging the league is and where they are in the building process? And that's part of the reason why she's got the best poker face in the ACC. She keeps it cool.
Even without the mask. That helps a little with the poker face if you need it, but she hasn't needed it as much. So that turnover there by Amore perhaps giving a little late life to the Tigers. They need to try to hit some threes at this point. Not a lot of time to work with left in the game. And if the season ended today, we're not quite there yet. We still have Sunday to get through before we know the official seedings, but this is what it would look like in Greensboro.
Yeah, pretty exciting. And, you know, we heard today Governor Cooper in North Carolina has opened up some venues for some fans. We don't know how many yet, but if you were thinking about the ACC Women's Tournament, you have a chance to get a ticket and go, which is great news for the fans.
Washington from the free throw line got it. Timeout Clemson.
I mean, you never know what can happen right here. I mean, there's still life here for Clemson. You know, you go for a hard trap, get a steal. And, I mean, they've turned the ball over under duress.
Certainly forcing the Hokies to work here to try to get win number 6 in a row. Remember Boston College, Syracuse coming up after this one. Pam Ward, LaChina Robinson standing by with a call on that game. Does Clemson have more to say about the outcome of this one?
Force a timeout to advance the ball. That's the last timeout for Virginia Tech. Try to get that trap.
Could hear him calling for the trap, but Washington didn't get a lot of help. And now they'll put Sheppard on the line.
Yeah, you notice Sheppard keeps the ball, right? Smart move.
Yeah, Sheppard 7 of 7 from the free throw line in this game. That's helped her 25-point effort so far. Had 23 points in the last game against Syracuse, so she has really started to turn things on. I mean, she's consistently been great, right about 20 points, 19 points per game on the season.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody in the ACC is going to get a good night's sleep on Clemson's side of the bracket. I can say that because if they could put 40 minutes together, they could be really, really dangerous.
No timeouts left for either team at this point, so 70-61 the score. Well, final strategizing going on in both huddles. 15.4 on the clock. Amanda Butler trying to instill some of that positive energy, confidence.